Hi, everyone. I am Congresswoman Maxine Dexter, Oregon's 3rd. I'm here today to share the story of Jackie Merlos, a mother, churchgoer, and small business owner in my district who was disappeared by the United States government along with her 4 U.S. citizen children. Jackie and her children were held by Customs and Border Protection in a windowless cell, enduring inhumane conditions for more than 2 weeks. After initially being misled by Customs and Border Protection, I tracked Jackie down and demanded her and her children's release, as well as access to legal counsel. Thankfully, her children were freed, but Jackie remains detained and separated from her children. As her immigration case continues, public pressure remains critical to getting her reunited with her kids. I spoke with Jackie's close friend and the current caretaker of her children, Mimi, last month about what happened to Jackie and what it tells us about the immense cruelty of Trump's immigration machine. Here's that conversation. I'm Congresswoman Maxine Dexter, proudly representing the people of Oregon's 3rd Congressional District in Portland, Oregon. And today I'm joined by Mimi Letnich, a constituent, a local hero, a business owner, and we're going to learn a lot from her today. In July, Jackie Merlos and her 4 U.S. citizen children were detained by Customs and Border Protection at the northern border at Peace Arch Park when having a reunion with her sister's children, and her mother, who had flown in from Honduras to visit. Yeah. They were taken into custody for 12 days before we were able to locate them. And it was only because of Mimi and her network and the community of people in our district.
And your team.
Who love Jackie and the kids and Carlos. And I just am so honored to be here with you today. And I think it's just really important that people hear what's happening. Mm-hmm. And we've been talking about this all day, the privilege that we have to invest in trying to bring this family back together is extraordinary. And yes, we are not finding success yet. This is happening across this country. And so we want to use this opportunity to share Jackie, Carlos, and the kids' story, so that hopefully people can see the real impact of this cruel, just irrational and lawless practice that our administration is
exercising.
Yeah, right now. Yeah. So Mimi, if you can just kind of tell, how this came to pass for you. How did you end up with 4 lovely children?
So cute.
Yeah.
They're so cute.
And obviously in your home, but
yeah. I mean, as you said, the children were with their mom and their grandmother, and they were taken, snatched, and at the border, really. And what's interesting is the Canadian family, her sister and their children, were released, and they took Juana, Jackie's mother of 71 years old, and sent her to Tacoma. And then they disappeared Jackie and the kids, which I think is, incredible that something like that would happen. And really, the manipulation and the move and there's a lot of work on their end to make that happen.
100%. Yeah. And so I was contacted by a mutual friend. Asking, is there anything you can do? We've literally cannot locate Jackie Merlos, her 4 U.S. citizen children. After they were detained at the border, we have no idea where they are. Can you help us?
Yes. I mean, I am so thankful for, your effort and your team's effort and just the attention immediately. This is what we want with our congressional leaders. This is what we want from humans like you to that are representing all of us. And to take that kind of time and attention immediately was really incredible and touching. And we know that you guys are pulled in a lot of different directions. And I want to say that this is why you're here, is for this. So
you're incredibly kind. And I'm so grateful for your kind words. And our team has gone above and beyond in every way. And there's not a world in which this should be necessary.
No, my God.
Against everything our Constitution has offered as protection for the people in our borders. Jackie and Carlos have built a business. Mm-hmm. They own their home. They've raised their 4 citizen children here. Mm-hmm. They've never broken the law. These are not the criminals that Donald Trump is saying he wants to swoop up. No. These are pillars of our community. They're the best of all of us.
They're contributing.
And we are having to fight like hell to just put this family back together in the country that they know.
That's right. I can't, we're all the way to the top. We can't go any higher. This is it. And we're still battling this situation. And I have to say, my husband, Chris, and I have been shocked. It's unnerving how manipulative and egregious the system is tightly threaded, really working against all of these people. I think it's really important. They're not criminals. Yeah. I don't think anybody's arguing criminals.
Yeah.
But 60% of these people are not criminals. And yet the effort to remove them is mind-boggling.
Yeah, so let's get into that just a bit, because I literally heard that they were disappeared at the Canadian border. We had no idea where they were. My team, a congressional office team, could not locate them. We were given false information, misleading information. My chief and I literally got into the car in Portland, Oregon, and started driving north, knowing we may end up almost Canada before we found anyone. We are texting. We're in conversation with her attorney that you had retained for her.
All fast friends.
She did. Yes, absolutely. Jackie did not know she had an attorney. She did not know if anyone was looking out for them. She was in a windowless cell with her 4 children in a very sterile room. And I only came to see that briefly later when I finally was able to find her. But we had to drive almost to Canada, wait hours, demand access, and I wasn't allowed to talk to her. She wasn't allowed to be seen by her attorney. We were told that she was voluntarily returning to Honduras, and therefore she gave up her right to due process. Something that we have reason to believe isn't true. Is that right?
100%. We know that's not true. And since that's been 100% confirmed. And it is amazing to me that we had the opportunity to work with a congressional leader, that you were by our side there leading the effort, and that CBP lied multiple times. You're asking questions and lied 3 different times to you. What situation are we in? It's hard to believe that this is acceptable behavior and condoned behavior, that they're free. It's wild, wild west.
Yeah.
Honestly, at the expense of people's lives. And 4 young children, they say to me, Abby, she'll say, Mimi, I just know that they have children. How could they talk to me that way? How could they treat us like that? Don't they go home and look at their children and wonder, how it would feel for somebody to treat them that way? And I think that human element, besides due process, is just, it's disgusting, honestly.
And tell us more, because when I walked in and CBP did allow me access, they let me come into the room with my chief. or into the area, we were able to look through the window and see Jackie literally kneeling on a concrete floor with her 4 children at a concrete bench praying when I saw her. And tell us more about what the kids have told you about what happened. And when you say how traumatizing that was, tell us more about that.
Well, that the goal clearly is to threaten and frighten and put everybody on edge, right? You're taking a mother and her young children and you're saying, we are not only going to take your children and put them in foster care if you do not sign a self-deportation, but in addition, there's too many of these children. There's 4 of them. They won't even be together. They'll be in different foster homes. They wait, Jackie go out of the room, and in moments had an agent come in and berate the children and asking questions like, do you have relatives? Where do you live? Do you have money? Do you have a father? And then a couple of days later, their father is detained. Oh my God. And they feel like it's their responsibility. And I think the other thing that's really interesting is how we call it detention. Mm. I think of detention, you had to stay after school. And it's like an hour or so afterwards, and, you had to sit at your desk. This is not detention. This is prison. Yeah. People are treated inhumanely. And they, as an example, in those 2 weeks, were in a place that isn't even set up for detention. Right. There's no food service. There's no plan it's not made to hold people. Right. So, I think the language that we're using also is set up to help people feel better about what's going on. Yes. Yeah. And it's flat out not what's happening.
Yeah. So I want to just say that members of Congress were on board from the beginning. Representative Jayapal helped us contact folks. Yes. Representative Larson, who represents the area where Jackie and the kids were detained, sent staff with us. Yes. Senator Merkley and Senator Wyden both joined us in a letter asking for a temporary restraining order when we were told that Jackie was going to be sent to Honduras with the kids. Now, these are 4 U.S. citizen children. How were they going to send them to Honduras if they weren't asking to go? So how was that going to happen?
I think it's so interesting that there's so many layers of this. One is the coercion to get Jackie that day at the airport. She was not signing this release. And they have 5 tickets. They have passports for the children that our government got quickly in Seattle for the 4 children that are supposed to be coming home. And so it's this coercion for Jackie to sign this information based on, we are putting you on a flight right now, and your 4 kids are either going with you or they're not going with you. And they're going to be in foster care. And then we get the TRO, the temporary restraining order goes in. And still, even then, they did not tell Jackie that came from a judge. They just said, plans have changed. Plans have changed. You're not going to go. And they say to the children, I bet you're excited to go to Honduras. Aren't you? Oh, it's going to be so fun. Have you ever been on a plane before? Oh my gosh. Just taunting them. And then I get a call a couple hours later from somebody that says, CBP and they say, are you Mimi Letnich? Yes. Would you like to come pick up the Merlos children? Like, is this a play date? Nobody has talked to the Merlos children or their mother in 12 days. And now I thought it was a joke. I just was like, well, why don't you give me your phone number and I'll get back to you. That's interesting. I would love to come get them so that I can do my own investigation, because that's how everything went.
Yeah.
To even make sure that this wasn't a hoax of some sort.
You literally texted me saying this happened. I had been told
What?
I had been told that they were getting sent, that I couldn't come see them because they were being sent to Honduras, and I was trying to intervene. You called me. I had to call the government affairs person in Washington, D.C. for the Customs and Border Protection office and asked, are they trying to give the Merlos kids to Mimi? And he said, oh, no. And then he called me back and said, oh, actually, they are. Like, even our government did not know what was happening with these kids. And this was after they coerced Carlos, their dad, in the Northwest Detention Center into signing forms to allow the government to get passports that they didn't tell him that's what he was signing. They said, are these your children?
Honestly, we need 2 days to explain to everybody what took place here, because it's absurd.
It was deception and evasion and absolute dedication to trying to get this family out of the country.
Out. And I don't know, does that count for one person? Or would that somehow count for 5? I mean, that was a lot of work for one human to add up to your 3,000 a day.
And never mind the fact that in the end, I think 8 members of Congress or more were involved to try to help. We are to represent almost 800,000 people each. And all of these folks are doing this for one family. There are thousands of families who need our help right now, and we simply don't know and don't have the capacity. This is not the way taxpayer dollars should be used. This is not the rule of law. This is not keeping our communities safe. It is tearing us apart. It's undermining our safety. It's undermining our faith in government. This is emblematic of a much bigger, dangerous
situation.
Yeah.
I agree, and I want to say that there are so many people that have come to us and said, I voted for our administration. I believe in our administration, and I want to say to you that this is wrong. I know it's wrong. I don't want any part of it. And we have people that are reaching out on all sides. This has gone too far. What is it going to take to make this end?
Yeah, we have masked people in unmarked cars tearing people apart, tearing families apart every day. We have to make people aware of what is happening and how wrong it is, and the real impact on these beautiful, bright, motivated children.
Yes.
We are creating trauma that they are going to have to carry throughout. And this
for the
is
rest of their lives.
One family out of thousands, tens of thousands we don't even know, because they're literally being sheltered or taken into the shadows.
How quickly?
Yeah.
They're processing fast. It's a processing plant, frankly. And they're moving everyone through, and there's no time. There is no time for anyone. You need $25 to make a phone call. I mean, it's just absurd.
And it's all of our taxpayer dollars paying for it.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yes. That's a feel good.
Yeah. Mimi, all I can say thank you to you and Chris for everything you're doing to help these kids be safe at this time. What we need is this family back together, and we need all these families back together.
We do.